It's the last morning of a work trip, and Diane needs to print her boarding pass. So she does the most ordinary thing in the world. She walks down to the hotel business center, sits at the shared computer in the corner, and logs into her email to pull up the confirmation. She prints the pass, logs out, and heads to the airport. 30 seconds. She'd forget she ever did it. By the time she lands, a stranger has her email. I want to sit in that with you for a second because the gap between what she did and what happened to her is the whole reason I'm telling you this. She didn't do anything careless. She logged in and logged out the way any reasonable person would, but that shared computer used by 100 strangers a week, cleaned of nothing, watched over by no one, is exactly the kind of machine criminals target precisely because people trust it for 2 quick minutes. It may have had software quietly recording every key she pressed, including her password as she typed it in. And logging out doesn't help you when the password itself was captured on the way in. Email is the master key because it's where every reset my password link in your life gets sent. By the time she was in the air, someone she'd never met was already inside. And here's why email specifically is the disaster, why it's not just one account. Think about what your email actually is. It's the recovery address for your bank, for your credit cards, for your social media, your shopping accounts, the place your tax documents get sent. When someone controls your email, they don't need to guess a single other password. They just go to each of those sites, click forgot my password, and the reset link lands in the inbox they're now sitting in. One captured password at a hotel printer, and the keys to a whole life start turning, one account at a time, while you're somewhere over the country with no idea it's happening. That's the part that makes this worth 5 minutes of prevention. The cost of the mistake isn't one account, it's the cascade. I'm Brent Gifford, and this is the Digital Safety Playbook. For 30 years, I protected banks and financial institutions from exactly this kind of thing, and now I write this, a plain English security guide for the rest of us, the people who never got handed the corporate playbook. And before I go any further, I want to say something to you directly because I think a lot of us need permission to hear it. If you've traveled with your phone and your laptop and never once thought about securing them for the trip, you did nothing wrong. Nobody tells you that travel changes the rules. You pack a charger and a passport and you go the way people always have. The idea that an airport, a hotel, or a border quietly removes the safety net you have at home isn't something anyone hands you with your boarding pass. So if that's you, you're not careless. You just haven't been shown the part that stays hidden until something goes wrong. Let me tell you what actually happened to Diane. And I should say up front, Diane is a composite. Her name and story are invented, built from the way travelers really get compromised. But the mechanism is real, and it happens to ordinary people every day. Diane is 41 on a work trip. Nothing exotic, a conference a couple of states away. And the thing that got her wasn't exotic either. It was that one ordinary decision to use the shared computer for something that needed a password. Because here's what travel does, and it's the heart of everything I want you to understand today. Travel silently removes the protections you don't even realize you're relying on at home. Think about it. At home, you're on your own network, your own devices, your own routines, 100 small safeguards you never think about because they're just there. The moment you travel, they're gone. You're on Wi-Fi you can't trust, at computers you don't own, in rooms other people have keys to, carrying your entire digital life in a bag, in a place you don't know. None of that is your fault. It's just the part of travel nobody explains. Because the airline sells you a seat, the hotel sells you a room, and your security on the trip was never anyone's job but yours, and no one ever told you that. So here's what's actually true, and it's good news. You don't need to become a paranoid traveler, and you don't need to understand any of the technical machinery. You need a short, calm checklist that you run before you leave. While you're still at home, on your own network with time to do it right. 5 minutes at your kitchen table buys you a trip where the safety net travels with you. That's not fear. That's just packing the one bag most people forget. And I want to be honest with you about the stakes, just for a moment, not to frighten you, but so you know why this is worth doing. When your accounts get taken over while you're traveling, the timing is the cruelest part. You find out when you're far from home, often in a different time zone, without your normal support around you, trying to sort out a frozen bank account or a locked email from a hotel room. The people who do this count on exactly that you'll be distracted, off balance, and slow to notice. Diane got a little lucky. She caught it from an alert. The whole point of the next 5 minutes is that you don't have to rely on luck or on catching it fast from a hotel room 1,000 miles from home. You prevent it before you ever leave. Let me give you the 5 steps. Step one, turn on Find My Device and turn on Remote Wipe. If your phone or laptop goes missing on the trip, and travel is exactly when devices go missing, this lets you find it, lock it from anywhere, or erase it entirely so a stranger can't get in. On an iPhone, it's in Settings under your name, then Find My. On Android, make sure Find My Device is switched on in your Google account. And here's the key. Do it at home before you leave because you cannot turn it on after the phone is already gone. Step two, set a real passcode, not just your face. Face unlock and fingerprint unlock are convenient, but they can be used against you when you're not in control. Someone can hold your phone up to your face. A strong passcode can't be taken from you that way. This matters most at borders and in crowds. On an iPhone, go to Settings, Face ID, and Passcode and change it to a longer number or a word and number combination. It's a 2-minute change that quietly puts you back in control of your own device. Step three, install a VPN and get in the habit of turning it on for hotel and airport Wi Fi. Public Wi Fi is a network you don't control, and a VPN wraps everything you do on it in a private tunnel, so nobody nearby can watch. The important part, install it at home before you leave on a network you trust, and then connect it the moment you join any public Wi Fi before you open anything else. If you're not sure which one to use, this is a great thing to hand to an AI assistant. Ask it to recommend a reputable, no logs VPN for travel and walk you through installing it one step at a time. Step four. And this is the one that would have saved Diane. Don't type passwords into computers you don't own. Hotel business centers, library computers, a borrowed laptop. Treat every shared computer as if someone is watching what you type because they might be. Use your own phone for anything that needs a password. If you need to print a boarding pass, email it to the hotel front desk to print, or just use the airline app and a mobile pass. If you absolutely must use a shared computer for something, never ever log into your email, your bank, or anything that matters. That single habit closes the exact door that Diane walked through. Step five, tell your bank you're traveling and take a photo of your phone's IMEI number. Two tiny things that save you enormous grief. A quick travel notice to your bank keeps your card from getting frozen in the middle of your trip. And a photo of your phone's ID number, its IMEI, is what the police and your carrier need to block it if it's stolen. Find the IMEI in your settings, take a screenshot, and store it somewhere you can get to without your phone, like your email. Let me say those back in one breath because together they're the whole safety net. Turn on Find My and Remote Wipe. Set a real passcode. Install a VPN for public Wi Fi. Don't type passwords into computers you don't own. And tell your bank while you photograph your IMEI. 5 things, 5 minutes, at your kitchen table before you go. Now, run Diane's trip forward with that checklist done. She never types her password into that business center computer because she prints her pass from her own phone, so the keystroke logger captures nothing. Her Wi Fi is wrapped in a VPN. Her phone can be wiped from anywhere if it's lost. Her bank knows she's on the road. She didn't become a security expert and she didn't travel in fear. She spent 5 minutes at her kitchen table before the trip. And because of it, she came home with her vacation photos and nothing else. No stranger in her email, no cold dread, no weeks of cleanup. The safety net she has at home simply came with her. Now, there's a deeper layer here, and I want to be straight with you about it because this free checklist is genuinely most of what a typical traveler needs. But if you cross international borders or you carry sensitive work data, travel security stops being a checklist and becomes a system that runs the whole length of a trip. What are your actual legal rights when a border agent asks you to unlock your phone? And how do they change depending on whether you're a citizen? How do you stay connected abroad without the two-factor codes protecting your accounts quietly, locking you out of them? Why is a hotel room not the safe place it feels like? And what do you actually do in the first 10 minutes if a device is stolen in a country where you don't speak the language? That's a complete system, and I've written the whole thing out. This week, because it's a deep dive week, paid members get a separate complete guide published today alongside this free one. It's called Crossing Borders and Coming Home Safe, the Complete Travel Security System. The full timeline from the night before you leave, through the border, through hotels and public Wi-Fi abroad, to the checklist you run the day you get home. If travel is part of your life, it's the member's companion to everything you just heard. To read it, go to digitalsafetyplaybook.substack.com and open the companion posts. It's right there for paid subscribers. And if today was useful and you want to go even deeper on this one topic, there's a guide that goes the whole distance, the Travel Security Playbook. It walks through device hardening, your rights at the border, choosing and testing a VPN, international connectivity, hotel security, and exactly what to do if a device is lost or stolen abroad, with printable checklists you fill in and carry. It's the one I'd hand a friend who said, "I travel for work and I've never once thought about any of this." You'll find it and everything else at digitalsafetyplaybook.substack.com. That's the Digital Safety Playbook. New here? Subscribe, and every Monday you'll get one practical guide. No jargon, no fear-mongering, just the next thing worth doing. I'm Brent Gifford. This episode was narrated with a licensed clone of my own voice, reading a script I wrote myself, which is, when you think about it, exactly the kind of technology all of us should be learning to recognize in a world where a familiar voice is no longer proof of who's really speaking. More on that in a future episode. Now, before your next trip, whenever it is, put 5 minutes on your calendar the night before at home and run the checklist. That's all it takes. I'd rather you did it at your kitchen table than learned it the way Diane did.